regardless of what happens, if you're right or if you're wrong, in either case, you're setting yourself up to make a trading error on the next trade. Because our minds have the natural tendency to connect the past with the present. If the trade was a winner, in other words, if you're trading in a trade-by-trade perspective, and you think you were right because you won, in other words, whatever reason you use, the market seemed to validate that reason. We know now that that just is not the case. If the trade was a winner, we're susceptible to, on the next trade, not predefining the risk. Well, the last one was a winner. I knew for that reason. I knew what was happening. Therefore, the risk doesn't exist. Not letting ourselves get stopped out of a loser. Jumping the gun because you're anticipating the signal. Over trading our position size. Not booking any profits because you think it's going to go on forever. Is this making sense to everybody? Yes. If the trade was a loser, you're susceptible to not predefining the risk because you're going to gather all the information that's necessary to make sure it's not going to be a loser this time. Otherwise, I wouldn't be putting it on. Right? You're going to analyze it to death. You're going to hesitate, get in late, or not get in at all. Take profits too soon, or revenge trading by not booking any profits. In other words, whatever the market's given you ain't enough. I got to have more. The last trade was a loser. I got to have more. The benefits of a series of trades perspective. You know exactly what behaviors serve your purpose and what behaviors do not. You cannot trade in a series of trades perspective with a trading plan and not know exactly what behaviors will serve your purpose and what behaviors will not. Because everything's planned out. You're either following your plan or you're not. But the point is, everything is planned. You are not picking individual trades, therefore, no one trade has any more or any less significance than the other. The next trade, this trade, they're all just trades. None of them have any more or any less significance. You will gain a sense of freedom to flow in and out of your trades without conflict because you are not living or dying on the outcome of any particular trade. By reducing the number of variables, you will be learning what works and what doesn't. By truly accepting that the outcome of this trade could be different than whatever happened the last time, you are positively managing your expectations. Now think about what I just said. By truly accepting. What does it mean to truly accept? It means that there's no other part of your identity or consciousness that is in conflict with accepting the fact, genuinely accepting the fact, that this trade could have a different outcome than the last one. If the last trade was a winner, it means that this trade could have a different outcome. It could be a loser. If the last trade was a loser, it means that this trade could have a different outcome. It could be a winner. You see, our minds don't feel like there's anything wrong with you by thinking in the previous way, because our minds are wired to think that way. Our minds are literally wired to connect the two. That's why it's so difficult for many people to break through into this ability to think in probabilities and to break into this threshold of consistency. Is because we're working in some cases against natural wiring. It is natural for our minds to say, if this is what happened the last time, if the circumstances are identical or similar this time, then the same thing is going to happen. What I'm saying to you is that you have to step into an exercise where you consciously disconnect the two. In other words, your whole purpose is to disconnect this now moment from what happened the last time. Because there is no connection. The reality is there's no connection. That's the truth. You just can't let your mind think that there is a connection. There is no connection between the outcome of this now moment opportunity with what happened the last time, even though the variables that are getting you into this trade or identifying this opportunity are identical. That creates quite a paradox for our brains, okay? That's why people can understand the nature of probabilities. They can understand them, but they can't function from that perspective. You have to train your mind to function from that perspective. That's what separates everyone from the pros. Okay? You have to train your mind to disconnect. Don't let yourself think that there's any connection between now and what happened the last time. Because the reality is there is none. There really isn't. I don't care how identical it looks. You can use the same mathematical formulas and criteria in those formulas that apply to market data and come up with these patterns, but I guarantee you the traders that are operating in the market now are not the same traders, identically at least not the same traders as the ones that operated the last time. Therefore, there's no possible way that there could be a connection between now and then. There's just no possible way. When you disconnect, when you make that disconnection, okay, you won't perceive market information as threatening. You'll eliminate the potential to make a trading error, and you will be aspiring to trade without fear in a carefree state of mind. Now that you understand that your technical methodology does not tell you what will happen next on a trade-by-trade basis, in this section, I will take you through a step-by-step process that will integrate the principles of consistency as a functional part of your trading personality. Up to this point, we've talked about how we get into this mindset, about